The pattern of distance, yet closer to yourself. Isn't that a good title though? Remember who you are, energy is calling. Hello? It's me. Listen, I know it's always taking so much time for me to get back to another episode. Because, first of all, I rather go for quality instead of quantity, but also the energy has to sit right with me. I do have a lot of topics to talk about, so that's not really the issue here. It's also very therapeutic for me, but like I wish I could talk even more. I really like doing this, but if the energy doesn't feel right, like matching the energy of the topic, then I'm just not doing it. You know what I mean? Because I feel like I cannot talk about something I'm not feeling or something that I haven't felt yet. You know what I mean? It would feel like I'm not really truthful to you guys. Like, I'm not going to give you advice or my point of view on something that I haven't felt and something that I can't get back to, something that I haven't experienced yet. So that's why, and something that isn't clear in my head. Okay, so it has to be clear in my head. I need to know what I'm talking about, and that's why it's always like taking a little bit more time. Also, sometimes I discover things, but I just don't know how to explain it or talk about it. Even though I really want to talk about it, I'm like, oh, shoot, like, wow, this happened to me in my life, and I realized some things, and I really want to talk about it, but I just like, A, don't feel like it. I don't feel like I'm in the right headspace, or B, I just don't really know how. I don't really get it yet. Or like, I don't really know the core of the experience yet, or I don't really know the depth of what I will be talking about, right? But good news, I'm here with some distance for you guys. Let's talk about distance and how powerful it can be. It may solve all your issues, your problems, well, the same. Maybe also like your doubts. Okay, you guys know that I always start with, I talked about this to a friend, or I was talking about it with a friend, or I wrote this down. Well, we have a wrote this down moment. So, I was writing down some stuff while doing some shadow work on paper. So I have like a clear vision about it, you know? And something that kept coming up on paper was the word distance, okay? It's like a pattern that was like getting out of the paper. It's like the universe wanted me to write these the universe wanted to wait, what? It's like the universe wanted me to write down those things to get a message or like the answer to my questions, you know? And the answer is distance, okay? And I've also wrote a kind of quote that matches with it. Let me read it again because I don't remember. Keeping distance opens another life quality. It is something that I was looking for though. Like I am looking for more value, to add more value to my persona, more value to my life. And that is with staying mysterious, staying more private, more distant, okay? And I think that the answer is, distance. When you distance yourself from things or people, it gives you more quality because you will have more time to think about things or more time to protect yourself or, like, for example, I'm going to give some examples, okay? So, whenever you're feeling overwhelmed, okay, rather than like flipping and like getting out of your mind, you can stay calm and take some distance from the situation you're in. Okay, maybe like a certain situation is like giving you like so much thoughts and emotions and like anxiety, and you're getting overwhelmed by the situation. Well, then it's a good thing to take your distance with that situation. I don't say ignore, ghosting. I don't say acting as the problem isn't there, or, being avoidance. I just say to take your space, your distance, take your time to think about it, take your time to see how you can work things out, like see how you can act or react to that certain situation, how you feel about it. Just like have a little checkup of yourself. Maybe you can like ask some advice to someone you really trust and see with that person what you can do, instead of like being very impulsive and like letting everything out and then regretting it maybe, and then maybe it's going to be even worse. So it's going to be like a very vicious circle. So it's the same, like if you can't think clear, maybe you're having like a heartbreak, when you have a heartbreak, but you're still like attached to someone, like you can maybe make some poor decisions, or like maybe some impulsive decisions. You can make some impulsive moves and then maybe regretting it or making things worse, or pulling like maybe like that person is going to distance even more because you are like giving some signals of being little desperate, for example. The best thing you can do again is withdraw, pull back, relax, distance yourself, okay? And give it some time. Give it some days, some hours. If you need to like send a response to maybe your boss or to a client, or maybe to the person that causes you the heartbreak, whether it's like in a friendship or like a romantic relationship, just instead of like reading it and instantly like think about reacting to it, just take your time, relax, withdraw, and distance yourself from the situation. Give yourself some time to process everything that went through. I have to say, like, I do this now, and I realized this recently because I'm a very impulsive person still. I can, how do I say it? Like go in defension. I'm going to be like reacting in defensive way. And it's just not always a good idea. You feel me? I'm also like someone that overshares a lot. And that is something that I realized recently, that if I do not go well, and a random person that I've just met, which is a nice person or not, I don't know, shares something about their lives that is very sensitive to them too, I feel like I need to share my traumas and I need to share what I'm dealing with at that moment with that person as well. But sometimes you don't know that person, you don't know what it can affect, how it can influence your life. You know what I mean? Like maybe that person knows other persons that you know and stuff like that. And it can get very messy out there. And when I feel like oversharing again, I also do that when, for example, I found out something very cool. I feel like I need to overshare with the whole entire world. And that is like giving away my opportunities and my chances and my luck and all this kind of stuff, which is generous of me, but sometimes it's just not okay to do so. So in that moment, I'm learning to distance myself, okay? Just listen and try to not really want to share things about me and give myself naked, actually, to that person. And just, relax, breathe, listen, and get the information. If I still feel like wanting to share something, well, I can share some things maybe, but sometimes it's just better to think about it. Think before you're going to speak. And that is something you can do with distancing yourself from a person, a situation. You can also distance yourself emotionally, like don't say like, you know what, yeah, okay, thank you for sharing. I need to go to the bathroom now. I will get back in like maybe 10 minutes or so. I just need some time. Well, no, it's not working like that. You can just take your time in your head and distance yourself emotionally. Like don't get attached to things or people that quick. Especially when you have like a very kind, open, honest, soft soul, you don't really see the danger. You just want to share. You just want to be heard. You just want to be seen. You just want to be loved the way you do, the way you give your energy. You want it back, It's just a normal thing to do for you, but it doesn't mean that it's healthy to do. It doesn't mean that it's like healthy to do so, or you can trust the other person. You know what I mean? So that's something I'm learning as well. And I swear, guys, like distancing yourself is actually one of the best things you can do to protect yourself as well. And then sometimes realization comes just like that during the space you're giving yourself from the situation. Things that you didn't see at that point, that moment, or things you didn't saw coming, but since you like pulled back and relaxed and took your time, you saw things, like you understand things that you didn't maybe understand in that time and place because you weren't in that mindset. But this can also be like, for example, you're looking for a way to better yourself or your content or whatever you're trying to do in your business, for example, or just the way you're posting on social media, or just in a materialistic way, okay? Let's say that. Then giving yourself more distance can give you more space for your creativity and for your ideas to develop and get better in quality instead of quantity. Because maybe you're just like getting in the rush and you have like FOMO because everything needs to go very fast, very quick. And, in business, with the ideas, with the person you're hiring, with posting on social media, you always need to come up with new things, new, which maybe makes that you're getting like overwhelmed and that you are not really putting your mind and your soul in your ideas. And, like just distance yourself again. And this can really like solve the problem because you will listen to yourself. You will take your time to think about it. You will take your time to develop your ideas, and you will make yourself even more proud because you will come with something to the world, something great, something with quality, something with value, and something you really thought about it, And you give yourself some time, but it will add up long term. You know what I mean? So overall, I think that distance can really solve a lot of problems you may deal with. Even though, for example, if you are stressed and a little nervous about something that's coming, but like, again, you cannot see it anymore. So again, I kind of see distance with like breaks, and I see distance with like relaxing and pulling back. Because again, you're not ignoring the situations, you're not ignoring or neglecting your feelings, your emotions. You're not ghosting a person. You're just taking your time. And it also gives more connection to yourself back, that energy back to yourself. So you can handle things better, and you can like vision things better as well. And maybe handle things in a way that maybe if you were in a rush, you wouldn't handle it that way, and not in a good way, maybe. And maybe you're going to regret making decisions less. You're going to regret less making certain decisions. Okay, that was better. Just take some time alone. Work on yourself. Put that energy back into yourself. And I swear, you will feel so much stronger. You will feel like, you know what, bring it on. Bring it on. Or you will realize things that you couldn't realize back then, you know? Just try to listen to yourself and try to calm yourself. I don't say put your emotions or your feelings into a box, because I tempted to do that, you know? I didn't know how to deal with those emotions, so I tried to suppress them, you know? I try to silence them and act as if I didn't care, or act as it will just go away, but it doesn't really work like that. Instead, distance yourself. Try to write it down and try to figure out what you want to do with these emotions and these feelings, and just give yourself some time, even if that means that you're just laying in bed a whole day, if you're able to, or just don't be too hard on yourself in these moments of life. And I promise you will get way stronger out of it. Distancing is healthy. It's something healthy. It's something smart to do, in my opinion. And I'm putting it fully in practice, even though sometimes it's hard. But if you feel like you're getting haunted by some thoughts, just really try to wait a few hours or a few days and see how these thoughts are like managing themselves. If they're still there, then you know your answer as well, and you know what the next step will be. But at least you gave yourself some time. You gave yourself the chance to make a good choice. Also, when you're distancing yourself from certain things that you thought they were, let's say you meet a person, or you have a dream job or something, okay? And you're so obsessed about it. You want it. You want to be with that person, or you want that certain job, and it's like haunting you, and maybe in a positive way or a negative way. But if you distance yourself, then you make some space and some room to see the things from another perspective, from a higher level. It's like you're standing on a mountain, looking at the view, looking at what's going on down there. You know what I mean? And maybe you're going to see and realize things that you couldn't see when you were on the lower surface, when you were just in your bubbly dream, in your sparkles, and in your pink glasses. Face, you know what I mean? And that can give you also a perspective of seeing how someone really is, because you're giving the space for them to react or act a certain way. And maybe if that person didn't have that time, you would never see the real facade of that person. Because you took your distance, you didn't attach too fast, and you didn't give things away too quickly, and you didn't let that person do. Or you finally realized, with having some distance with a project or a dream or a job, that you realize that actually is actually not what I want to do. Whoa, wait, this is actually really not what I want to do. I didn't know it was like this or so, or, you know, I'm lucky that I analyzed it from distance. I'm happy that I choose a safe way, because actually distance is a safe space, is a safe place to be in. You know, it gives you room. Distance means space, means room to think, to relax, to analyze, and to get to know better something or someone. That's how I see it. It's a tool. Distance is a tool. When you're doing something and you realize what you're doing, it's also like a little bit of shadow working. It's also a little bit of giving yourself some feedback, like, oh, whoa, you're doing this again. Please step back, take some steps back, okay? So you can get 10 steps further. But please come back. Let's sit down now. Let's reflect. Don't panic. Give this some space, some distance right here. And try again. Or do it different. Or think about it. Okay? This is how I see it. This is how I see it. And I'm very thankful and glad that while I was doing my shadow work, that word came multiple times, because I was actually like analyzing my own behavior as if I was another person trying to give myself feedback on a rational level, let's say, like pulling out my spirit and putting it outside of my body, looking at me. And I was looking for some solutions to the behavior I didn't like of myself, because it got myself in trouble somehow, or other things, or gave me stress or whatever. And from each solution to each of my behavior, like I got the word distance. I don't know how to explain this even more, but this is distance. Again, I'm going to repeat myself, the quote that I wrote down. Keeping distance opens another life quality. Isn't that an amazing chance and opportunity to use? Try it out for yourself and let me know. All right. Thank you so much for listening to this fresh and new podcast episode. And I see you in the next episode. I don't say soon, but I will see you guys in another episode.